a tribute to John Romita Sr. Hi, welcome to Garage Geeks. So Comic Collector Geek has posted his Friday night challenge for the week, and he fittingly gave a tribute to John Romita Sr., and he wants everyone in the comic community to dive into their comic collections and see which John Romita Sr. covers you have to share. I thought that this would be a really difficult one for me because I do not have a lot of expensive comics. I do have a lot of collected editions. John Romita Sr. is one of the giants. He's probably one of the most important names in the comic book industry. He's responsible for creating what is recognized as one of the most important panels in comic history, and that is "Face It, Tiger, you've hit the jackpot." And what's so very interesting about that, it's recognized as probably being the most important panel, but it's not even showing a superhero. And that just stresses the importance of building characters around the heroes. Sure, many of the other people who have or who will make these videos, including the one already made by Comic Collector Geek, will go through some of the history and why John Romita Sr. is so important. I'm also not going to show many Spider-Man issues. That's where he's most well known because I think so many people will show those. However, I do just want to state that so many of the ideas for the plot of the Spider-Man movies came from the comics that John Romita Sr. worked on. We're going to start with two iconic covers, and I can't actually believe I still own these. So that's going to be Hulk number 180 and 181. So this is the introduction. This is the hotly debated first appearance / cameo. And then this is Wolverine's first appearance. These two comics have gone up in value so much, and I don't even know how I still have these comics. Like I said before, I got rid of my comic collection. Someone came and bought it bulk. And then a few years later, my friend, where I had the comics stored, he's like, "Oh, there's a box still in the closet of comics." It was a short box. And inside that short box were these two. Probably worth more than the entire rest of my collection. And so I was just like, someone was looking out for me. Now, what's interesting about these, they're not in the best of shape, as you can see, but they do have the Marvel value stamps in them. And I do have the reprints of them. I've mentioned this before. But anyways, John Romita Sr. was not only influential with Spider-Man, he was very important on other comics as well. Here is an homage cover of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and I believe this is an actual panel from a John Romita Sr. comic. Here we have an early cover, number 2, of Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, which would later become Power Man, which would later become Power Man and Iron Fist. I'm about to show one of my favorite covers in my collection. I think that this cover is just stunning. It's gorgeous. The colors, the line work, everything about it. And that is Captain America number 114. I don't have many early Fantastic Four issues, but I do have this one, number 115. And I got this one cheap because it's got a big crease right down the middle. You can see that. You know what? I don't care. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. It's a 15 center. It's number 115. And look at that gorgeous John Romita Sr. art. Here is Astonishing Tales number 19, starring Kazar. Now, I bought this for $5. Nope, it was $2.50. But and I haven't put it in Mylar yet. But here we have Kazar or Kazar. Larry's Library told me how to pronounce it. I think it's Kazar. I already forgot. And there's Zabu. Or is it Zabu? Unfortunately, I don't have this, but this is a notebook that I bought. And I actually bought 2 notebooks. The other one is the famous image of Spider-Man and Iron Man, and they were both done by John Romita Sr. But I can't find the other notebook. Look at me, like looking around like I'm going to find it right now. That must be like universal language. I can't find it. There we have Luke Cage, or Power Man, and Spider-Man. Look at that. That's an amazing cover. Okay, the last 2 things that I'm going to show are from collected editions. So here is a collected edition of the Defenders, and I'm going to show the Defenders were one of the groups that I really loved as a kid. And here is the cover to issue number 10. There is Thor versus Hulk. And so the final thing that I'm going to show today, which is cheating, right? We're supposed to show comic book covers, but you know, I'm going to show this John Romita Sr. Marvel Visionaries. And so if you look through this, it's basically just a bunch of his comics put into you know, form. So I mean, a lot of the very famous covers are in this book. I picked one that I'm going to show you. So it's an early black and white from one of the magazines. It plays a little trick on us, and we end with the introduction of a character called Satana. Satana. Look at her. Now, she really does look like Mary Jane Watson, and here is a blurb for her Satana. That will be she will be featured in the magazine Vampire Tales. Wish I had that. So there you go. That is my tribute to John Romita Sr. I know a lot of people out there, all my garagettes, my legion of fans, many of you aren't comic book collectors. So in these challenges, I try to be inclusive and include music and art, but it doesn't seem that he strayed very far away from the field of comics. I could be wrong about that, but all the research that I did didn't bring up anything else except comic book covers. But I hope that some of you out there will take the time to Google John Romita Sr. and look at some of his covers and see why he's famous. There's a bunch of YouTube videos out there that go through some of his work. He really was important in the comic field, and it is a very big loss. He lived to be 93, I believe, and his son is super important in the comic book field as well. But I don't think the comic industry is going to see his peer. He was especially important to me on a personal level because I read so many of his comics and while I was growing up, and he was so influential on, I would say, the development of my character. I want to thank everyone out there for the support.